this is Ms. Forte, and today I want to talk to you about knowing your value and just give you a few tips. I feel like this is one of the first things that we need to really do in order to have freedom in our singing, in order to be able to have confidence when we walk on stage, and really be able to start dealing with those fears and facing the things that make us nervous about performing or about auditioning or anything on that sort, actually. And I think that it's really important for us to just take a look at who we are and the value that there is in just who we are. And there's a lot of work that goes into getting good technique and all that stuff. But I shared in the last video of, sometimes we can do all the technique we want and we can work on all these things, but if you don't deal with the fears and the emotional aspect, what happens when you get on stage, all that stuff just goes out the window and you might as well not have practiced if you're not really dealing with that. And so I think the first thing that we really have to address with that is accepting and knowing who you are and your value as somebody to get up and sing, as somebody to have a voice and have a story to tell. And so I think that it's so important that we talk about those things and that you really start to grasp and understand and accept your value as a person. And I think so often, especially as performers, we put so much value on our performance and on our sound that's coming out and what does it sound like and did I do everything right and did I make all the right moves or did I do all of this, and we stop focusing on who we are being of value just by itself, and just the taking into account the courage that it takes just to actually open your mouth and sing. And that is something of value just in and of itself. And so often we're looking for this result. We're looking for this sound. I'll only be good if I sound like this. And then that puts so much pressure on us to make that perfect sound that we then feel like we have no value if we're not making that sound. And the deal is, you know what? Everybody has rough days. Everybody has days where they can't hit all the notes in their range. My voice right now currently is just like, I tried singing earlier today. Not a good plan. Not great. I was like, this should not be that hard. But I'm like, you know what? Not a good voice day. We're not going to practice today. So I did a little warm up in like 10 minutes and then I was like, peace out, I'm done. Because sometimes that's just the way it goes. Some days I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't hit that note today. That's not working. And you just have to be able to accept your value as a person and as a performer, even if you can't make the sounds that you think are what makes you valuable. And I feel like just having that change in your mind is so important to be able to even make progress. You have to be happy with the progress that you're making. It has to be about the process and not always the result. Because I think it's really important that we understand our value as individuals. My most embarrassing story. So, I did pageants when I was younger. And I really liked them, actually. I really enjoyed doing pageants. And I think this was my first pageant ever. I think I was 11, maybe? I think I was 11, maybe 12. Maybe 12. I might have been 12. I think it was 12. And so, anyway, so they have an interview portion or whatever, and they ask you questions, and they have this video. So it wouldn't be so bad. It would not be my most embarrassing story ever if my siblings did not have a copy of that DVD and like to show it to people of me at 12. And the interviewer asked the question of like, what if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be? And I was not prepared at all for this, so I literally had no idea what to say. And so I came up with I am unique. And that probably wouldn't have been so bad, except for I continued to explain why I was unique. And in the fact that I'm unique because I know how to have fun, but I also know how to be serious. That's what makes my siblings laugh hysterically, because at the time, especially like at 12, I did not know how to have fun. There was no fun to be had. I was very serious about everything, and I was very serious about being taken seriously, to be honest with you. Like, that was kind of the deal. It's always been, I just wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be I wanted to be an adult. Truthfully, at that point in time, I kind of just wanted to be treated like a grown up. And it's funny because throughout my life, I have actually, basically in college, I actually started having fun and learning that people could also take me seriously while I was having fun. Like, what? So yes, thank you to my wonderful girls from 3BE for teaching me that. Because I had a blast being the prank queen in college. That was great. Yeah, all of a sudden I was like, hey, when I was an RA, my floor was known as the pranking floor. And we did lots of pranks. So I learned how to have fun and still expect people to take me seriously. And the funny thing is, I feel like I'm still learning that, because one of the things that I still struggle with is this fear that if I'm not precise in what I say, people aren't going to take me seriously. And in fact, I tell my students all the time, if you want a serious voice teacher, like, go see somebody else, because I'm just not. Like, I start to recognize that when I start talking, I am a spaz. I cannot keep a straight line. I have points of what I want to say right now. I am completely off book. Like, it just does not happen. So I've just really started to recognize that, you know what? That's okay. I need to know and understand that that's who I am. And nobody else can tell my stories. No one else can sound like me. No one else talks like this. And if you want somebody else, go find them. There are tons of amazing people out there. I have a video. I will put a little link on there. Aveen Hollins does a 3-minute voice lesson video. She's fantastic. And I watch it and go, why can't I be like that? Why can't I do that? Like, that's what I want these to look like this, and I want to be this and do this, and this is the result that I want. It's not what I have. That's not what you get when you get me. But it doesn't actually make it, again, still learning this, still working right now, currently, to just be accepting of the fact that this is what this video is going to sound like. I've tried it 3 times. It doesn't sound any different anytime I try. I always try and make them shorter. Doesn't work. That doesn't work, because it's not who I am. I am a talker. I am a loud talker. And I like to tell stories. That's who I am. It's part of how I communicate. And I think it's so important that we start to recognize our value just as people. Just to know that you have something to say and your voice is important, and it's important for it to be heard. And the other thing about that is just that you are unique. There is something super unique about every single person. I had a coach that I adored tell me that no one can ever sound like you while looking like you and doing what you do. And I'm like, that's so freeing. It's so freeing to know that I don't have to try and be like somebody else, because my value is in the fact that I am unique, that I am an individual with different properties about my voice. They don't want another Adele or Christina Aguilera or Beyonce. We don't need more of them. We have them. We need somebody that sounds like you. And that's something that's just so important, I think, for us to really start to grasp and accept, is that if you will get and start to value your own uniqueness, your own special voice, even those things about you that are maybe not exactly what you want them to be. There's nothing wrong with accepting that, accepting who you are, accepting where you are right now, and being able to then make progress with that. But if we constantly are looking at oh, well, I can't do this or I can't do that or blah, 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 and we're looking at the things that we can't do, we're not going to get any better. So I think it's just so important that you really start to recognize your value and that who you are as a person and who you are as a performer, the uniqueness that is you has value in and of itself. It's not about the sound that you make. It's not about having this perfect sound or having this super professional video all the time, but it's about you being you and being who you are and accepting who you are and loving that because we do and we want to hear it. People want to hear you and your voice. So I just want to leave you with a quote. My sister did all of these princess quotes. We had a princess party. And so, so my house is literally just filled with all sorts of quotes because that's what we do around here. And this is one of my favorites. I just loved that she did this. And it's just on the darkest days when I feel inadequate, unloved, and unworthy, I remember whose daughter I am and I straighten my crown. So if you're feeling like you don't have anything to give and your voice isn't special and whatever, I want you to just remember that God made you in a completely unique way that no one else on earth will ever sound like you. And that is special. So adjust your crown and keep singing. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can let me know in the comments or ask any questions that you have. Subscribe to my channel and get videos delivered direct to your email. You can also support me on Patreon. Happy singing!